Hello folks, welcome to Pro Trader Strategies Market Commentary for Thursday, May the 27th. I'm Eric Wilkinson, and you very well may recognize me as the Wolfman from mainstream media, where I talk about the economic data, the geopolitical environment, how those come in to impact the markets with some of my market analysis. I'm going to do the same thing for you folks in these market commentaries, but I'm also going to talk about these option strategies I implement into my portfolio based on those assumptions I come up with in my market analysis. And for you folks, we've streamlined the process for you to find the best option strategy for any given assumption. We aren't just picking option strategies out of the hat where you go for a bullish assumption and buy a call. No, we have to be good stewards of our capital and know if the pricing is expensive or cheap. That will determine whether or not our option strategy is appropriate. All right, well, without further ado, let's get on. Oh, one last thing. If you take anything away, please smash that like button right now. It really does help us out. And then we'll talk about the economic data. All right, across the pond, nothing going on. And we spoke earlier this week. It's pretty light for economic data. Tomorrow we do get some pretty decent stuff because tomorrow we get some good stuff because it's the core durable goods and durable goods numbers. So I'm going to be looking forward to that and pending home sales. That's all tomorrow. Today, all we got was the crude oil inventories, and it was a drawdown larger than expected at 1.7 million barrels, expected to be 1 million barrels even. No revision to last month's number. Right now, crude oil is feeling a little toppy here, folks. It seems like it's kind of run its course, although, having said that, we're seeing some of the crude oil stocks associated to that, like ExxonMobil. I'm going to show you a chart here pretty soon that looks like a really good setup that we can talk about, especially for a bullish move on a technical setup. All right, so without further ado, let's get on with the charts and move through it because I got a lot to talk about with all of those chart setups we were talking about yesterday. Let's see how they followed through. With crude oil, though, really nothing to see here and or the broader markets for the most part, other than gold looking a little toppy. So something I always mention, somebody was talking to me about gold, GLD, how to trade that. And what I say is if you aren't set up for futures, look at the futures for charting because I think that they give a better picture than, say, for instance, the ETFs. So look for the gold futures for determining your directional assumptions here. And to me, if we're finishing out like this in gold today, we tested that 1900 handle, right? And now it's looking a little bit weak. Are we going to roll back down to the point of control here, down around 1875? It's not a big move, but nonetheless, probably not the best time to start getting involved in this as we are coming up and near this 100% Fibonacci extension. And remember, that goes back to, I think I put this in here. I thought I put this in here, but basically it's the 2011 highs. I think a couple of times I mentioned it was 2009, but it was 2011, if memory serves me. Anyway, so that is going to act as some resistance as that psychological level comes back into focus. So we could start to see some weakness here. So if you've been in on this ride, it could be a time to start pairing some of that. But having said that, with all the other charts that we're looking at with these patterns, all of the technicals are kind of getting blown out. Bitcoin settling down right here at around this 37, 3,800, between, let's say, 35 and 40, since it has such big swings, is seeming to be an area where the market is finding some comfort. Whereas the dog in the background wants to go out, probably the kids having some breakfast now that they're home from school. Yes, we all hear you, Belden. Anyway, 10-year coming down and testing the 50-day simple moving average right now, feeling like it's a bit of a bottom here. It's up on the day, but you can see we gapped down a little bit. All right. Anyway, we've got the VIX making another type. Looked like yesterday with the markets coming off, we were talking about some of these strong names showing some weakness. Well, things looking a little bit different today, and the VIX is kind of showing us that continuation pattern that we've talked about where you get a bottoming pattern and then another doji counter opposing. Now you could say that this is inside of another move, so not as predominant as a bottom when you see those. So moving on to the equities, you can see NASDAQ looking a little toppy yesterday. One could say it was a blurry on a continuation pattern, but today with a move to the upside, we haven't gotten above yesterday's high, which would be significant. We settle above that. That is obviously a bullish move then, and erasing those topping patterns. Dow Jones Industrial Average doesn't look very pretty right there, but an inside day for the most part. Again, E-mini S&Ps, is it a top or is it a continuation pattern? As of right now, the shift for me is leaning towards a continuation pattern in these folks, where we are going to resume a bullish move now that we've tested a lot of key support levels and the market is bouncing up one way. The economy is looking very strong right now. Going forward guidance for these companies, this earnings are looking very good. So all of those things being said, to me, the risk is moving to the upside. E-mini S&Ps inside day yesterday and today. It looks like it was a stretch to the outside of, or stretching and to the outside day, but this point of control still lined up inside of that other value area. So for me, it would have been an inside day on the chart, but very, very bearish feeling throughout the day for me. And having said that, a real surprise that we're seeing a lot of these markets making these reversals. Now, some of them, like XLU, we talked about this on this trade to the downside, and it may have played out. So I am working in order to get out of this trade. The beauty in it is, if I was short this underlying, rather than being in the options where I took advantage of high implied volatility, all of those things in theta decay, I can play this out a little bit longer. I wouldn't be feeling like I needed to get out because of the pattern setup, bouncing off that 50-day yesterday and today. Well, I still have theta on my side. So yes, the chart setup is looking to move to the upside, but because I am short calls in this, I'm going to continue to let this theta work its way out. And it shouldn't take much longer. I'm still about 10 cents away at any given point, but any type of move to the downside or more of this volatility coming out, that will help me out in this strategy, which is what I looked for setting it up, is that if I mess up on my directional assumption, at least I have all of these other things in my favor working for me and helping me out. And that's why we set up these trades, like I talked about in the beginning, to streamline your process, to find those opportunities. Just looking at, I don't know what, I was flipping through penny stocks earlier today, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to get on with the casino stocks. Yesterday, looking toppy. Look at this. I mean, that is a classic. Yesterday, making a new all-time high and finishing with that top. Well, today, no confirmation so far. And what I would normally do is then flip through some of the other ones. You can see WYNN totally blowing off that top. Las Vegas Sands, again, another bullish pattern here. You could even look at PENN. So the casino stocks making a reversal here. So if you have any type of position in those, I would be very wary, especially if you're in MGM. Now, they have a lot of other things going with the sale of the studios. So that is going to play into this a little bit. They do have casinos and the MGM studios and stuff. All right, so those switching course. Bank of America, again, yesterday looking very bearish, as you can see, then getting this bottom pattern. We're still inside this like little trend that we're seeing here. So risk to me is to the upside in this. And you can see it with Goldman Sachs kind of reversing today. Bank of America, Citi, all of the stocks that I was looking at yesterday making these big moves to the downside, thinking the banking sector was going to be weak. I think it's because a lot of this talk with the Fed, saying that they are going to signal well ahead of time on any type of tapering, that has maybe eased the market a little bit. Now, having said that, I think as soon as they signal that they are going to taper, there is going to still be a taper tantrum. But today we have to look at what was given to us, and we can see that these reversals are happening. And Boeing, again, yesterday looking a little bit toppy. It looked like we were going to make some moves to the upside earlier today when I started going through some notes here where yesterday looking very bearish, and then today, you know, we're not getting any follow through. So I'm kind of holding on to that. If you guys remember in Boeing, the reason why I'm interested in that is because I have on a long call spread from our bullish trade. Now, if you guys remember, we played this and have gotten that bullish move. Not quite enough over the time that I've had it. So we stalled out for a little while. That hurt me in this trade. So I am getting a move here. I am long the July 245 calls, short the 270 calls for that call spread. Was hoping for this reopening trade to do something. Now with these casino stocks making that move, it's giving me a little bit of hope that these airline stocks are a little bit underperforming and maybe giving a fake out. All right, so keep your minds on that. Think about you and your community. How many people are talking about taking a vacation or flying somewhere this summer? I mean, a lot of people I'm talking to are flying, driving, and everything else. So it feels like that reopening is going to happen. I think that the reopening trade is a little bit of a lagger here, as I think that we're going to see that rotation start to happen, because things like Activision looking a little bit toppy, Nvidia I think was looking a little bit toppy as well. So these might have had their run, and we're going to see this sector rotation again out of tech and into the reopening. That is what I think is on the docket for this next push forward to the upside. All right, that's all I've got for you guys today. I haven't taken anything off, although I am looking to get out of the XLU and the GILD, Gilead Science. Gilead Science, a lot of these Merck are looking to be bullish. So if you're looking for something like this, it looks like the biotech healthcare industry might have had that sell off. There are a lot of them are testing these 50-day simple moving averages. And again, a part of that theory out of tech reopening, maybe some of these other ones that have been beaten up like the biotech, making a move to the upside. All right, so haven't made anything right now, but these are looking pretty juicy as of right now. Now, if you remember, I have on some long puts in Gilead Science. They're in the August 67.5 puts, was looking for that 65 trade. Well, we got into the 65 today in Gilead, but we're making that move back, and you can see probably near the highs right now. I've been chasing it all morning. I started at around $4.50 all the way down to last trade I had on there was working at $4.25 offer. So I didn't get filled. They did trade there. I saw a trade, and I put my order down there. Somebody gave up the edge when it was bid, and I was offered, and I saw them hit the bid. I just joined it as they took out everything that was there on like a 15 lot or something. Anyway, having said that, I'm still working that, but I am very concerned about this move to the upside. I'm going to book some profits, as I said, because we could stall out here even, and that would hurt this position for that long put with the theta decay and volatility coming out. I didn't expect volatility to come out as we would come down, but that happens. All right, everything else kind of worked out, so most of those levers and pulleys were working in my favor. All right, that's all I got for you guys, other than please smash that or take that. Bye for now. Take it easy.